In the last video, we had a look at creating basic variables and also using comments and outputting the information to the browser. In this video, we're going to have a look at selection, which is basically decision making, allowing your code to branch off in different directions depending on different values or conditions. So let's start off with a variable. The cost is £10, £10, €10, $10, doesn't matter in this situation. So the cost is 10, and we can now perform some code based on that value. So we use the word if, and then we have a condition. So we have if the cost is maybe less than 50, then we have the block of code which will execute if this is true. So if the cost is less than 50, then we're going to print out at the screen, you can buy this. So let's run this and give it a try. You can buy this. So the cost was 10. So 10 is less than 50. So this block of code will run. We can also use else, and this block of code will run if this is false. So we could say this is too much. So when we run that now, this will still execute because this is true. However, if the cost was now 100, if the cost was now 100 when we run this, this first condition will be false, so this condition will run. So now we can actually choose between different conditions. We can actually have multiple conditions. Maybe the cost is less than 50 and the cost is greater than 10. So now both of those conditions have to be true in order for it to run. There is another way of selecting different paths in your code, and that's using selection, using switch. Switch is another common sort of process that you'd undertake in code. So we're going to have a name. Let's give that a capital. Name is Paul, and we're going to use a switch block. So a switch block operates on a variable, and we're going to use the variable name, and then we're going to wrap the switch block in curly braces. So with a switch block, we have different cases. So the first case is that the variable name equals Paul, in which case we will echo out a message, hi Paul. And then after the echo, we need to break. This break will stop the code running on to the next case because more than one may be true. So we'll have another case, and we'll say this time it's Bob. And if that's the case, we will echo out, hi Bob. This is not very efficient code, just sort of demonstrating how it would work. And then we're going to have a default case. This will run if all the others are false. Hi, who are you? And then we'll break from that, and that will be the end of the switch block. So let's give that a try. We've got some errors. Don't panic. Undefined variable name in line 15. Okay, it's because I put a C there. Instead of writing name, I've put C name. If you get an error like this, it's very possible, or most likely in fact, that you've just spelt something wrong. Don't panic. Look what line it's on and then have a look what the message is. So it says undefined variable, so it couldn't find this, and that's because I'd spelt it wrong. Let's try it again. Hi Paul. So if we change this to Bob, it should now skip this section and run this piece of code here. Hi Bob. And if I put Tom, it should now skip both of these and use the default case. So there are two different methods for controlling the flow of your program, using an if statement if a condition is true, or using selection. And it depends what you're doing, which will be the most sensible to choose. Okay, thank you. In the next video, we're going to be having a look at iteration with loops.